Hello and welcome to my review of the Elgato Wave DX and Wave XLR MK2. The Wave DX Dynamic XLR microphone comes in at $99.99, featuring a cardioid polar pattern, frequency response between 50 and 15,000 Hz, offering a max sample rate of 96 kHz and 24-bit depth, and mounting options for 5/8, 3/8, and quarter threads. This microphone clocks in at a modest 1 pound or 440 grams. Time to break out the trusty Swiss Army knife. With this kind of microphone, you do need to speak into the end of the microphone and not the sides. The capsule lives at the top of the microphone. Your 3/8 inch and quarter inch adapter already lives inside of the microphone base, so it's not loose in the box. To remove it, just unscrew it. And now I'll do a weight comparison between the Wave DX and the Blue Yeti. The Wave DX comes at 1 pound 1.5 ounces, while the Blue Yeti comes in at 1 pound 1.9 ounces. So virtually no weight difference. Keep that in mind when buying a boom arm. Overall build quality, I think, goes to the Elgato Wave DX. The newly released Wave XLR MK2 coming in at $169.99, featuring clip guard, onboard DSP, and VST effects. This unit supplies 48-volt phantom power and 80 decibels of boosted gain, making it perfect for dynamic and condenser microphones alike. back of the unit features the XLR plug, headphone jack, as well as your USB-C cable. I know it didn't show up on the video very well there, but there is a capacitive mute button. You tap it and it will mute the entire unit. The Wave DX Mark II comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable. I'm assuming that you can swap it out to a USB-C to USB-A cable. Go ahead and use USB-C if you have the ports. Elgato XLR cable. It is 10 feet long, or 3 meters, 0.5 pounds, or 220 grams, braided 3-pin XLR cable. I do appreciate the braided anti-snag cable and how flexible it is. I like how simple this setup is. Plug in your XLR cable and your USB-C cable and you're good to go. All the narration in here is being recorded on the out-of-the-box experience. I'm not going to fancy the audio up, so this is exactly how it sounds as configured when you set it up. So that's going to cover the intro, the unboxing parts. Setup is all going to be done on the Wave DX through the Wave XLR Mark II. Again, I'm not going to do any filtering. I'm not going to do any editing to this audio. This is exactly how it sounds. I'm sitting about 6 inches away from the microphone at this point. Levels seem to be about the same as the Yeti. However, I am not getting a whole lot of extra noise. Like, I'm creaking in my chair right now, and it is not showing up on the microphone, which is fantastic. To get started, you will need to use the Wavelink 3.0 software in order to use the Wave XLR correctly. It walks you through setup, fine-tunes your input gain automatically, offers tutorials on how to use the built-in DSP, toggle on and off 48-volt phantom power, as well as fine-tune your audio delivery settings. We'll get into that in the next video. There's so much stuff to cover, and everyone's voice is different, so everyone's approach is going to be different. I'll just go over what the settings do and how they can impact your voice. And I'll also be fine-tuning mine as well, because again, this is the out-of-the-box experience. Plug and play. This is what it sounds like. And don't forget to keep your firmware up to date. I have to update mine, so I'll let this process, and then I'll get into the rest of the video. And now for a non-dramatic reading of The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. So after the non-dramatic reading, I just wanted to run a couple extra tests. I like the Raven to test with because it does have plosives as well as a little bit of sibilance testing in it. It's really quick, real easy to deliver. Right now what I'm going to do is a little bit more to test the combo word that does plosives as well as sibilance. Persistence. Persistence. I'm being persistent with my tests. So what I'm hearing on that test is a lot of sibilance. Plosives aren't too terrible, but That's something that you can control yourself to a certain extent. Sibilance usually is something that you have no control over. It's just part of your voice with certain mouth sounds causes it more so than other people. Microphones do accentuate that issue, but there's a lot of tuning you can do to stop that from happening. And then we'll work on that in a follow-up video about tuning. So speaking slightly off axis, you can mitigate the plosives. Like right now, plosives are very annoying, but if I speak off mic slightly, it reduces the plosive sounds. So I can say berry and the word plosive, right? A little less impactful. Proximity test now. Let's see how this effect works. 6 inches away, 1 inch away. 6 inches away, 1 inch away. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? So I've been using the Blue Yeti for about 8 years now for various projects, and usually it works out pretty well. I've been having a lot of problems with it recently, with the audio gain being fine one day and the next day being terrible. So I'm looking for something with some more finite control over the system. Uh, my wife uses a 3rd generation Scarlett 2i2 with a CAD microphone for her audiobook recording. So I don't mess with her setup. I get yelled at if I touch anything in her recording booth. So I've been doing everything on the Blue Yeti in my gaming room / office since we moved into this new house. And it seems to work pretty well, but it does pick up a lot of excess noise, especially lately. I don't know, the Windows 11 changeover has really screwed that microphone up. I absolutely love Logitech Hub, and its software is fantastic. I use mostly Logitech hardware. So I've got Logitech headphones, I've got a Logitech keyboard, Logitech mouse, Logitech speakers, everything. When they brought in the Blue ecosystem into the Logitech Hub software, it did fantastic when it first launched. I've been having nothing but problems. And also it's been popping and clicking lately. So I don't know what is causing that. Power should be fine to the computer. There's no reason for this interference. I'm using a high quality shielded USB cable, but yet it still occasionally has these little clicks and pops and weird sounds coming out of it. So I decided to finally upgrade because I like how my wife's setup sounds, but I don't want to copy hers completely. I was looking for something a little bit more simple because I don't record anything extra. I really don't use any. So the Wavelink 3.0 software has really changed the game for a lot of this audio routing. I don't have VB cable installed anymore. I don't use voice meter anymore. That software has been buggy since Windows 11 release 2. My daughter's computer still has a setup, but she's on Windows 10 and it works flawlessly. But if I install it on Windows 11, it's nothing but a nightmare. And this is really cool. My neighbor is having work done on their basement at the moment, and there's a lot of hammering. Like I can hear that. I can feel it rumbling through the floor, but it is not coming across on the microphone, which is fantastic. The Wavelink 3.0 software really sold me on the ecosystem. Of course, I can afford an SM7B, but I've used them in the past, and they're okay, but I don't want to spend $400 on that. Then you have to buy a cloud lifter to increase the gain, and then you have to buy the audio interface. And by the time you're out the door, you're at $600 or more. And it's just not something that I wanted to invest in at this point. I think the Wave DX and the Wave XLR Mark II really hits a price point that is kind of in the middle. Will it hold up long term? I don't know. There's tons and tons of other microphones out there. But the big thing is now that I have an audio interface that has 80 decibels of gain, I can get a wide variety of dynamic or condenser microphones to run with it. Overall, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Elgato ecosystem using the Wave DX, Wave XLR Mark II, and the Elgato XLR cable. Everything feels super premium. I think at this price point, it can go a long way for increasing my audio production capabilities because I've had to do a lot of editing and manipulation of the Yeti software. And in DaVinci Resolve, which I use to edit my videos, there's been a lot of tweaks done. Hopefully this eliminates a lot of that and speeds up production times, because nothing pisses me off more than having to spend twice as long doing audio work on a video than it did to record the video and edit it. This video is not sponsored by Elgato or Corsair. I use my own money to purchase everything that you see in this video. But I will say that going back and listening to the initial recordings and all that stuff with the out-of-the-box experience, I'm very, very happy with this setup. Could it be better? Probably. Can I get a more expensive mic? Yeah, sure. Can I get a least expensive microphone? Probably. I've got a couple reviews of other microphones coming from other brands. I do Amazon Vine reviews also. Mostly it's just pictures, small video clips, as well as the written review. But this is the first item that I've gotten since becoming an Amazon Vine reviewer that I'm like, okay, I'll make a video on it. So that'll be coming down in the future. Another dynamic microphone from a company I've never heard of before. If you got anything out of this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I've got more tech reviews coming as I dive further into this kind of content. I'm Ravenos. As always, have a good day.